Hopeful, yes. Mythology, the greatest story ever told, the second greatest story ever told. What's the title of episode 4 of the second greatest story ever told? Where we meet the hero. What's the title of the story? A New Hope. Y'all think I'm making this myth shit up? You think this is my little neat perspective? When I say I'm copying and pasting what's real from the hieroglyphs and shit, oh, you think I'm lying. A New Hope. What you're learning about maturity from this maturity perspective, the hope that you crave, it isn't yours. The hope that you're wanting to feel is ours, that you're providing. That's what James Baldwin was talking about. What corrals you, what bullwhips you, what drives you. I need to get involved. Let me get my lightsaber. Let me go to Jedi school. Hope. This is from Ernest Bloch. He's a Marxist composer. Same alma mater as me. I don't like his music. Love his writing. This is from the Principles of Hope. Hope, he's describing what hope is to the artist. Its work does not renounce. It is in love with success rather than failure. Hope, superior to fear, is neither passive like the latter nor locked into nothingness. I'm like, damn, I'm low-key locked into nothingness, to be honest. The emotion of hope goes out of itself, makes people broad instead of confining them. Hope cannot know nearly enough of what it is that makes them inwardly aimed. Hope is the thing that allows you, I cannot know enough about what makes me inwardly aimed. Ooh, can I know more? Can that vision go higher? Hope. And it's not your hope, it's ours that you're tending to, that you're responsible for. Hope cannot know nearly enough about what it is that makes them inwardly aimed, of what may be allied to them outwardly. The work of this emotion requires people to throw themselves actively into what is becoming, to which they themselves belong. High vision of your art. Hope. Is it clocking a little? Cool. Hero. The hero's journey begins. So we're going to go through a little bit of this mythological stuff to get us straight to meet the villain. I don't know why I made that sound effect. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Write a passage. We talked about that. Subconscious world wants you to have a map. So this comes from Joseph Campbell in The Hero with a Thousand Faces. This is the map of the hero's journey. Joseph Campbell sat his ass down in a log cabin for 5 years and read, I'm not kidding, every single myth that has ever been written. And he's like, well, Sean, he's like, oh my God, I found some patterns. Look at that. They're all the same. They all have these same wayposts. Again, the mythological journey is a metaphor for the soul's, it's the soul's adventure through a human. The soul's adventure through a human. Mythological means what the soul is going through. It does not mean fictional and fake. It means more real. Mythological means more real, but supernatural. Yeah? So this map, the hero's journey, you need to know it. You need to know that it exists. You need to know what the frameworks are. You need to know where you are according to it, because we're going to get into this for a few slides. Heaven forbid you go around for the rest of your life thinking that everything has to do with matrix nonsense. Oh, I'm sabotaging. It's my limerence. No, the adventure is beginning and you're burning it down. It's butterfly season. Burn the caterpillar, whatever analogy, the rest of the analogy. You get it. Why else do artists need to know this stuff? Teaching you to reread the symbolic language of myth, which is what we're going to do for a little bit today and then every day of this class. Teaching you to reread the symbolic language of myth so that you can learn how to decode the symbolic language of your own life. Learning to grow fluent in the language of the natural order will strengthen your creative sensibilities. If you can start speaking the supernatural ippity bibbity boppities. Become fluent in your own supernatural language. You become fluent in the myth. If you can learn to use the symbols to see what's going on, you tap into the villain to tap into some aspect of the universal thing in you so that you can write about the universal thing in all of us. That is how you mature. That is how you cultivate creative evolution by never having to go outside of yourself. How do I practice that I have everything that I need? Yeah. So what we're going to do for the next couple of slides is we're going to go through not all of this. We don't have time, but we're going to go for the first two or three before the hero meets the villain. And what I'm going to do is talk about what happens at every waypost from the mythological perspective, and then we're going to draw analogs to what happens in your creative unfolding, or perhaps your personal life, or maybe it's a little bit of both, some overlap, so that you can start to, oh yeah, that's me. Oh shit, that's me. Well, my God, this is real, and it's happening to me now. Oh my God, I need to break up with my boyfriend, or whatever. Ready? Cool. So, first step in the journey, we meet the hero. In every mythological story, we meet the hero in the ordinary world. This is where it starts. Ordinary world. Kansas. This is the best example, I think, because of the visual representation, the visual storytelling. Sepia tone, black and white, whatever. Kansas. Ordinary, boring, black and white, unvaried. The hero at the beginning of every mythological journey longs for something. Every hero. Luke looking at the dual sunset. Neo in Matrix, Berlin, Dunder Mifflin, just being like angsty. This is again my favorite because we have a song to go with it. Everyone knows the song of this scene, what she's looking up. What is she looking at? Nothing. But what does she think she's seeing? Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. Da 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 da, once in a lullaby. Now, what's that? Once in a lullaby. Once in a myth, maybe? Once in a little folklore, a little bedtime story? Is that a baby myth? Once in a lullaby. The hero's journey is beginning. If you lock into myth, what you'll see, Easter eggs, little references to myth. When Neo gets going on his journey, what do they say? What does Trinity send him on the little AOL chat of the Matrix? Follow the white rabbit. Myth inside a myth. Come on. It's not just for the character, it's for you. That writer said, I want you to follow the white rabbit. Anyway, what's going on? So that's what's happening we'll pull this over to you as a human. The season in your life when you feel unfulfilled, stuck, angsty, you hate it. You don't like nothing. You know that feeling when you're in high school or you go back to you just loved high school. You were popular or something like that. And then 10 years later you go back to your little high school hometown, you're like looking around like, what the fuck is this? Or you're in high school and the shit expires. You just had the time of your life going to a football game and now you could not be bothered. What was I on? I don't like you or you. What else is this season in your life? You long for something, but you cannot name it. You're not saying, okay, I want to go do this and I want to go to Paris and here's what I'm going to do and here's my plan. You're like, no, you just long and you don't know for what. Somewhere over the rainbow. Anyone relate to that? Everyone's looking at you like, that's your anxiety. Hell, listen, check in with your therapist, please, and your medical professionals. But myth is here to say the adventure is beginning. Because you are about to go on a supernatural journey. So of course Kansas suddenly is black and white. It wasn't black and white to her before. It was, wow, I love farm shit. This is fantastic. I just love this. over and over again. Man, milk the cow. I love it here. Kansas, didn't even go to the town over. I don't need it. And then she's like, now she's not even thinking about the town over. She's like somewhere over the rainbow. You ever been in that season? You kind of go into the myth, you kind of go into the spiritual realm a little bit. You start doing the ayahuascas and you start listening to weird shit. You don't understand why. It's taking flight. Yeah? Other takeaway. We said this in the orientation. You are not blocked. This is progress. Before, you loved high school. You loved being with that person. You loved that job. You loved the way your apartment was decorated. You loved working with watercolors. Now you're like, I don't like this. Progress. The whole world is going to tell you that you're broken. Well, I think you should just give it a shot. Can't stop feeling guilty for moving on. Of course not. No hero starts it. No hero's like, oh, I can't wait. They do not want to go. That's the next slide, or the third slide. Departure, the call to adventure. So this is where we meet him. Ordinary world. Dunder Mifflin. Call to adventure. Now. Okay, it's not somewhere over the rainbow anymore. It's something we get a little more detail. The artist, the hero, the protagonist, you, is drawn to something unfamiliar by a force he doesn't understand. Before he just kind of longed for something, didn't know what it was, but now there's a pull, a little more detail. Write this down. What's going on in the hero and inside of you? Write this down or don't. The hero and the whole world has conspired to transfer the hero's spiritual center of gravity into the void. Not to Kansas, not to Paris, not to a time and place, into the void itself. What's going on to you is going on with you is that the hero has transferred his spiritual center of gravity into the void. His spiritual center of gravity was Kansas. Now it's over there, and it's not a specific place. It's the void, the womb of the supernatural. Not a great feeling if you've never been there. How do we get there? Now y'all are going to relate to this. Joseph Campbell has says we get there in two ways: by blunders and by an ordeal, or by an ordeal. A blunder, Joseph Campbell says, is a result of a suppressed desire. There's something in you. You're not dealing with it. And so you pick a fight with your partner. You start showing up to work late. You get your ass fired. And then you're like, well, I can't believe this place. You've been showing up with a matcha 45 minutes late for the last 6 months. I can't believe it. Can't believe this person would treat me this way. You don't want to be with them. But it's a blunder because you don't have the courage, the capacity, the supernatural force, the gift. You don't know how to use the force yet. You don't have the courage, the heroism to be like, you know what? I'm done. And I'm leaving, waiting to exhale style. I'm out. It is easier for us to jump out of it, to light a building on fire and jump out of it than it is to walk out of the front door the minute our intuition tells us to. No sweat. Something else critical about the hero at this stage that Joseph Campbell points out. Critical underestimation of his gifts. Critical. You ever feel a little confident and then all of a sudden you're not? I can't write. Holy shit. Wait, no, this is a big deal. I don't think I can do it. Why? Because you're in the void. This is big shit out here. Critically underestimating your gifts, which actually means this progress, this the progress component, you're actually considering the capacity of your own gifts in a real way for the first time. sudden orientation to the world that feels foreign and magical. The other way that you get out into the adventure is an ordeal. So a blunder is the result of suppressed desire because your ass is a coward. I don't say that with judgment. I say that with experience and conviction. The other way is through an ordeal. The ordeal, I said the book of Job. The ordeal is so suppressed desire versus the ordeal is you getting your shit rocked and it had nothing to do with you. That's the deck of the cards. Something happened. A larger hand has moved yours. And then the hero no longer relates to Kansas in the same way. A death, an illness, a child is born, a divorce, a global pandemic, a genocide. That had nothing to do with you. But now, because those people are gone, the thing changed. You're injured now. You lost a leg. You lost your hair unexpectedly. You're sick. You don't relate to Kansas anymore. It doesn't feed you. You don't feed it. It's gone. In my case, like I said, my mom died. I had no idea how to relate to the world. No clue after that. Why? Because for the longest time, I was Janine's daughter. And Janine's not here anymore. So who am I? I don't know. Not yet. I had to, and that my coming of age, my call to adventure was going to get me to become Vanessa, not Janine's daughter. Now, this is for the adults in the room. The next slide. So that's the call to adventure. Good for you. Where do you go? Into the adventure? Now you're in Jedi school? Absolutely not. You refuse the call. Ooh, adults know about this. Ooh, I don't know if Gen Z knows about this yet. Listen to us, please. Refusal of the call to adventure. It's time to go. Nope, not me. Nope. What happens? What happens in the Matrix? This is my favorite one of these. The Matrix. Trinity is like, come with me to the BDSM club of Berlin Matrix. You're the one. You do not like my jokes. Damn. Last month they really liked my jokes. Okay. Refusal of the call to adventure. Trinity is like, you got to meet Morpheus. You're the one. Come on. That's the call to adventure. Let's use emojis to relax the joke. You know how much that would heal my inner child? Okay. What did Neo do? Nope, not me. I got an all teams meeting. My performance review is at 8 o'clock. I can't become the one. No. The hero is walled in by obligation, work, boredom, culture, walled in. I gotta go to work, and then I gotta do what the Black community tells me I need to do. I gotta take care of my family. I'm bored, and I realize that I prefer that, actually. And that is so hard for me to admit. I'm gonna stay put, actually. Then what happens there in the hero and in you? Vices. Because what your soul has said, given you assignment, get your ass into the void. Your spiritual center of gravity has transferred over to the void, the mystical realm, where ayahuasca takes us to. You don't want to go. You know you need to go. You can feel that you need to go. So what do you do instead? Some sort of vice to microdose on an adventure. That's none of my business. I don't judge you at all. Illnesses. I say that with several asterisks and fine print. Not all illness is you doing something wrong. You refusing the call to adventure is not you doing anything wrong. This is critical that we refuse. I'll talk about why in a second. But so, in my case, I remember it. I was in California for too long, and then I moved. I refused the call to adventure for 7 years. Agony. Anyone got a refusal for upwards of 10 years? Gen Z, don't
Y-
do it.
Yes,
Do it.
absolutely.
Gen Z, don't do
Yep.
it. Don't do it. Leap. Just I know Gen Z's gonna leap anyway. It don't matter. One thing about a millennial, we ain't leaping until we're like 37 at least. Anyway,
I,
pushing it, but yeah, migraines for 7 years. Yeah, 12 years. Refused to move for 14. Yeah, absolutely.
I've done it twice now.
Yeah, yeah. I remember in the body though, I remember there was this thing. I remember I got this debilitating nerve pain in my sciatica, all that stuff. Couldn't walk. My body said, you cannot take one more step in this story. My gait was wrong. I was so misaligned that the nature of the pattern, the design, the orchestration, the plan is so perfect that the minute I jumped out of that stuff, my pain in my body went away. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I wasn't even walking properly because I wasn't thinking about the right things. I was holding my breath. I was anxious. My shoulders were, then it affected my gait. My doctor is going to tell me, stretch out your hamstrings. Sure. Myth is going to be like, lock in. It's time, etc. Refusal, what does this represent? You're walled in by obligation, excuse me. Refusal to give up one's interests. Refusal to give up old stories. Vanessa, Janine's daughter. Now listen, we're joking. This Lorelai minds my business. But this isn't easy. We're joking about it, but y'all, some of you, if not most of you, the difficulty in giving up the old story is Herculean. Who is a was a what? A hero. Okay. It's hard. How do I go into the world saying goodbye to the fact that I am no longer Janine's daughter? Are you kidding me? I don't want to do that. That's why I don't judge you. That's why myth is like we don't judge you. Committing to outgoing rituals. You ever have that experience where you're like, man, this I used to be able to listen to this podcast and have that routine and do a little bit of that, and that used to be how I used to get in the flow. I used to talk to that person, listen to this podcast, whatever. None of that works anymore. I used to just think about the law of attraction and manifestation. It's just not hitting anymore. Committing to outgoing rituals is what the hero does. What's going on underneath deeply? Write this down. The hero does not understand the supernatural nature of his own gifts. Listen to that. Listen to me. The hero does not understand the supernatural nature of his own gifts. He's afraid of the supernatural nature of things. The purpose of the adventure is to get the hero to discover and believe in the supernatural nature of his gifts. You think this is about painting and being good at technique, but it's about this, the divine within. Carve out a space. No, there's not a watercolor, a medium, a substack in any of these. You're stuck because you're like watercolor. You do not understand, cannot comprehend the supernatural nature of gifts. So what do you do? Just like look at what does Neo do? The perfect example. Come be the one. No. Got to go back to work. So then what happens? The refusal of the call converts the purpose of the adventure, which is to discover the supernatural nature of his gifts, converts that purpose into its shadowy inverse, the supernatural nature of his gifts, the dark side of not using them. The enemy comes closer. The attacks come inward. You're supposed to learn how great you are. The inverse of that starts happening. That's when you start feeling like you're regressing. What happens in the story? All the agents come to his job. That's crazy. What are you doing in the Matrix? Get your ass in with Morpheus on the outside. What are you doing at bro? Can we meet in the street? You ever have that experience where there's some bad things going on, but then they just start compounding, and now it's like you have this at your job and it's your relationship, and now your body hurts and it's just going like this. Anyone relate to that? Sometimes I hear the sound of my own voice and I'm like, you are, Vanessa, you're cringe. The sound of it. Why are you changing your voice? Anyway, now what happens to Neo? They come in, he's gonna die, and he gets a phone call. Ring, 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 jump. Motherfucker, who the fuck are you? And jump where? Off the table onto the floor? No, jump out the building. No. Doesn't believe in the supernatural nature of the world. Jump. No, I'm gonna die. So do you relate to the hero doesn't believe, is afraid of trust itself, faith itself. These are supernatural things: faith, trust, courage, support. Perfect example. Hey, guys, hey, I think you should put your art out there. I think you're ready. I think you've got a neat perspective. I think you should give it a shot. No, I think I'm going to go back to grad school. Mm. No, 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 no. I know. I think you should. I think, yeah, I think, hey, I think you got to leave. No, I hear what you're saying. I'm just not good enough. That's not what I said. I said it's time to go because the walls are closing in. No, no, no. I'll be ready when I'm smarter. Audience is illiterate anyway. What are you talking about? Let me get one more certification. So I dropped out of grad school. I was like, you know what? The joke is on me. My God. $30,000 in debt for this? Woo! Got it? Now, what is the reason? What is the purpose of the refusal? To make you feel ashamed? To give you an autoimmune disease? I don't mean to make light of that at all. I joke about it because my mother passed of autoimmune, but and that's my humor. But this stuff is very important. I understand that. But what's the purpose of the refusal call? What does the hero discover? What happens to Neo? Well, he's like, fuck it. I can't. I mean, I don't want to die. I'm not going to go down all the way. Fine, I'll jump. What is that? The hero's first encounter with grace. First time in the hero's life, in his entire life, where he goes into the bones, this understanding, this experience with, damn, I didn't even need to believe in it for it to work. And he bounced and he discovers, oh my God, this is real. Some of this, I don't get it yet. But you ever have that experience where you're just being NPC and then suddenly you find yourself looking at angel numbers, doing weirdness? You know that experience? Hold on. You ever have a leap of faith and then it worked? Said another way, have you ever survived anything?
Hmm.
Y'all talk about I'm so traumatized, but all of you have survived it. You leapt, kicked, you blunder, ordeal, pushed, grace.